Good afternoon and a warm welcome to K24 Sports Hub on this 14th of February. Happy Valentine's to everyone. We have a great show lined up for you, and later on we'll be speaking to a representative from Athletics Kenya who will be telling us how our athletes are doing, and also ahead of the national cross-country trials that will be happening tomorrow at the Ngong Racecourse. Let's now just get down to some football news, and here's what's happening in the world of football, where Kariobangi Sharks coach William Muluya has exuded confidence in his team as they prepare for the FKF Shield Cup round of 32 matches set to kick off this Saturday. Muluya's side will face Ken Poli on Sunday at the Kasarani Stadium from 1 p.m. Let's listen in.
The challenge from, we'll say that a side that in the league might be lower than us, we'll say that they're playing in the lower league. But comparatively, I think they're going to match the situation, and they'll be so willing actually to give their best, and it becomes not really easy for a side that is of course high in the league. And again, it's a knockout, so we wouldn't face it as if it's a league match whereby any results that you haven't outscored your opponent, of course it means that it's either penalties or you're knocked out.
Itakuwa game yetu ya kwanza ya cup ya Betway Cup, na naweza sema tu tuko ready kucheza, because pia ukiangalia ni opportunity tunapata pia ya kucheza continental game, so I believe tutaichukulia game hiyo ikiwa serious kabisa.
Still in the world of football, aspirants from Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Taita Taveta, Wajir and Garissa counties submitted their nomination forms to the FKF Electoral Board ahead of the upcoming elections. This as the 6-day nomination period kicked off on Thursday at the FKF Goal Project House in Kasarani. Among candidates who submitted their documents are South Coast Branch Secretary Lilian Kazungu, who will be contesting the chairperson's position alongside Dixon Angore and Hasim Ahoje. The process will continue on Tuesday and Wednesday next week. The deadline for submission of relevant documents ends on the 18th of this month, after which the board will publish a preliminary list of candidates on February 21st, with county elections scheduled for March 14th, while the national elections are slated for March 27th.
Nimekuja kuleta endorsements papers zangu na za watu wangu za group yangu yote. Wako supportive kwa sababu wanakusaidia kuanzia mwanzo upande wa documentation, wanazipitia waziangalie, kama kuna kitu imekoseka wanakuelezea ujirekebishe before kuingia ndani.
Kwa sasa naweza kufanya kazi vizuri na nikainua kiwango cha mpira zaidi katika wadhifa ambao nawania sasa kama mwenyekiti. Ndio sababu nimekuja kuleta papers zangu hapa kwa Electoral Board. Nimeona the process is quite fair, na tumerudia tena huu uchaguzi tukiwa tuna imani kwamba utaendelea vizuri.
Our job is to facilitate a free and fair and transparent election. And so, as far as is possible, we'll accommodate everyone that feels they want to participate.
The National Olympic Committee of Kenya on Thursday officially announced Japan's Kurume City as the main venue that will host Team Kenya during the 2020 pre-training period ahead of the Olympics slated to take part in Tokyo, Japan later in the month of July. The committee, in conjunction with the Japanese government, signed a memorandum of understanding with Kurume City offering to take care of Team Kenya's food, accommodation and transport during their pre-training period of 21 days in the Asian city. Wanjuku Mwenda with more details.
It is official that Kurume City is the host for Team Kenya during the pre-Olympics training ahead of the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan, scheduled to take place from July 24th. The city, which won the bid to host the team, is located in Fukuoka, 1,121 kilometers away from Tokyo, the main host city for the global event. This was made official on Thursday in Nairobi as representatives of Kurume City and the Japanese government, in collaboration with the Ministry of Sports and the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC, signed a memorandum of understanding.
Ultimately, it's our hope that this cooperation will pave way for increased sports tourism and cooperation between our countries, opening channels for exchange programs for Japanese athletes to visit and train with our athletes in their camps while in Kenya, and also reciprocate the same in Japan.
is a partnership that it has no monetary attachment to us, but they are going to assist us and take up nearly everything in terms of our preparation, whatever food, whatever that we'll be doing, even in terms of the transport also to Tokyo from Kurume City.
This is after a process of city seeking that began in 2017.
About 3 years ago, the Ministry of Sports initiated a process of identifying a suitable place for pre-Olympics camp. They went to several areas in Japan, and several cities and universities made an offer. Then Kurume City made an offer that for them it will not be a commercial engagement, but it will be a sponsorship aspect.
Athletes representative Humphrey Kayange assured that the sportsmen and women, save for the middle and long distance runners, will spend their entire pre-training period in the city.
This is ideal, and some of the teams can go out there and train. Yes, we do have other athletes who will not be able to go there, and that is fully appreciated, but most of the team will be able to experience and explore the facilities in Kurume.
The games will kick off on the 24th of July and run through to the 9th of August 2020. Wanjiku Mwenda, K24 Sport.
And the games will go on. That is the message from the International Olympic Committee at the start of a two-day meeting with organizers of the 2020 Games in Tokyo. Amidst the fast-growing coronavirus scare, Kurume City, that will host Team Kenya during their pre-training period, through its representative Kazunori Hirotani, has assured NOC that all measures to make sure the city is free from the disease will be met. Japan has at least 250 confirmed cases of the coronavirus.
We Japanese, we love Kenya team.
Yes. So they're there.
So for the coronavirus, basically they have sealed all the entry points into Kurume and Fukuoka itself as preparations to stop the spread of the virus. Within Kurume, number one, the strong part of Kurume is the Kurume University Hospital. Number two, they have strengthened sports in Kurume. They have refurbished the stadium that Kenya team will use to I think a class 1 standard. The sub track also have been refurbished, and also I think Kenya team will also be training within the golf course of the Bridgestone golf course. They have a very good green that they've allowed our team to train there. So those are some of the things that Kurume City is doing to strengthen sports itself, and in particular pulling Kenya into Kurume. It is the love that Japan has for Kenya, and especially the Kurume City.
There you go. They have assured Team Kenya that our athletes will be safe when they go to Japan. Moving on, the National Cross Country Championships will be held on Saturday at the Ngong Racecourse. The event that had been slated for last Saturday at the Uhuru Gardens in the capital, Nairobi, had been postponed to allow athletes join Kenyans in the morning of the death of former President Daniel Arap Moi. The selected team from tomorrow's championships will represent the country in the African Cross Country Championships in April 8th in Togo.
Hey.
Yes, that's just what happens, what you've been seeing on air, just to make sure our athletes get ready for some of the tough terrain out there. So on that cross-country note, we have Dominic Ondiek in studio with us. He's a representative from Athletics Kenya, and he's here to just tell us what is happening in the country when it comes to our athletes. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Let's start on that cross-country note. I know it had been postponed because of the passing of the former president, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. How the preparations just coming along to make sure tomorrow is a success?
Thank you. As you've just mentioned it, we postponed the event because of the passing on of our former president. And given that he also loved sports and athletics in particular, we as a country saw it do good so that we can be able to give him respect that he deserved. Therefore, there before we had done area preparation as we were to have this particular event on 8th of this particular month at Uhuru Gardens. However, we had to change now the venue given that it will be occupied. Now we are going to take it at Ngong Racecourse, Choke Club. The preparations are getting on well. We are in top gear. Actually, by today, we are finalizing everything. And by close of business today, we'll have everything ready for tomorrow's course.
Yes, and quickly let's talk about just one thing that actually concerns most Kenyans. When it comes to the national cross-country trials, each and every top athlete actually comes and takes part. But then when it comes to transitioning, because this is the team selected is the team that will take part in the African cross-country, it's upcoming in Togo in April. Why is it when it comes now the African cross-country, some of the team members actually drop out?
You know, it's also about part of development because top of these athletes, quite a number, they have arthritis. But most importantly is to give room, to give an opportunity to those who are upcoming so that they can also get exposure. Because in as much as like when we talk about Kenya, the only challenge that we get as the officials, it is to select, not even to get qualifiers. Those who qualify, there are quite a number. And therefore, the best is that in as much as we want the best team, also, these ones who are taking part in the Africa events, they're also the best. Only that when it comes to competitions, it depends on your day. And you know, athletics is not like these other team sport. It is an individual event. And therefore, if you get to the, if you are able to move faster than the other one, then you are good to go.
Yeah, and we've seen some nice pictures there of just how the course is always prepared to make sure when they're running on it to bring out that resilience when they're on the track. But we have to compare this when we last year went to Aarhus, Denmark, and
yeah,
it was a bit
Aarhus,
hard
Denmark.
for, you remember the Kenyans were struggling while going uphill, but downhill they were very fast. So what is AK doing, you know, just to make sure the athletes, next time we go for the World Cross Country Championships, we are ready? Because I feel like for Denmark, we were not that prepared for it, especially when going up the hill.
Actually, when we start with, first of all, the meaning of cross country is running under obstacles, and therefore it is about challenges. Then we agree, yes, when we were in Aarhus, we were not aware about the course itself. But when we went to, rather, the Austria, those who are going to organize next year, they said, we get prepared better than what we saw in Denmark. And therefore, we've done a very bit good of preparation.
Yeah.
And also, we are having plans of having an advanced team in Austria so that we can be able to know and understand the terrain itself, understand the course, so that now when our athletes are in the camp, we are able to know which better training are we going to give them. Actually, like in Aarhus, Eldoret was a testing point. If all of us, you can be able to attest what was in Eldoret. It was a bit tougher than a good number of years that we've had cross-country. There are quite a number of obstacles. I remember some of the top athletes, if we can be able to see some of the clips, they left their shoes in the mud.
Yeah, I
so
remember.
we are really prepared. In Arus, most of it was about mountain lining because the hills were a bit steep, but we are prepared. We are up to the task.
Amazing. So quickly before we move on to other questions, other topics in the athletics industry, let's talk about Helen Obiri. Today morning there have been reports that she won't take part. Kindly, can you confirm if she'll take part or she won't take part in tomorrow's championships?
Like I mentioned earlier, is that we have quite a number. This year is so busy for us in athletics. Starting from Olympics, which everybody wants to go. We have World Under 20 that is on course. We are having a World Continental Tour that is we are going to host here in 2nd May. We have the World Indoor Championship that they are quite a number, and therefore we have the Diamond Leagues. We are going to see, because we have to sit down with the athletes, seek also their indulgence if they are going to take part in various activities. However, as by yesterday in our discussion with Erin, I know she's going to take part for our team, Kenya Defence Forces. Only, we might even decide, because she's the defending champion
in the 10 kilometers.
The 10 kilometers in women, then we can be able to decide and say, given that we know she's up to task, we can say what we can be able to do. Yeah. So we cannot clearly rule out that she's not going to compete tomorrow. She might decide to compete halfway or complete the course.
Okay.
But trust me, she'll be there.
Okay, perfect. So before we just go on to some the other topic I was talking about, quickly, who also in this, I know there's also the good thing about athletics, there's always new young upcoming talent we look forward to every year. So which names should we look forward to tomorrow?
For tomorrow, I know, like in the cross-country series, I've gone through quite a number of the series within the country. We've seen upcoming names that are coming in. Well, for instance, there is a new crop of athletes who have been taking part in various events, 800 meters sprinters who are transiting now. We have the steeple chaser, Leonard Bet. We understand Leonard Bet is actually coming up well. And he learned a very fast time last December. When he learned in Sotik, cross-country, in Olkarau, is also an athlete that we are going to watch. He won the cross-country in E10, that was the last series, and therefore is one of the upcoming athletes that we are seeing. And maybe also you can be able to mention is that most of these athletes, they are looking for endurance in preparation for the main track and field events. So we have a good number of athletes. There are those who are also going to give a challenge to the likes of Geoffrey Kamoror, who is the cross-country champion. Of course, he understands the terrain of Ngong Race Course. However, a good number of upcoming athletes, they are ready to give him a challenge.
Okay. So let's now go on to an issue that has become a thorn in athletics, and definitely that is doping. It has become a crisis in the country, individual doping. And here's what Sports Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohamed, who had retaliated that her ministry is working towards the criminalization of doping offenses with an aim to completely eradicate the doping crisis in the country. Let's listen in before we come back to the interview.
We are also working on criminalizing doping. Right? We've taken some steps. It's going to be, a journey because we have to have everybody on board. But I think we've said before, and it is useful to repeat, that it's not just about the sportsman or the sportswoman. That we are going to look at the ecosystem. It will be the whole entourage that will be taken to task. Sports managers, administrators, coaches, including federation officials and medical personnel. We cannot risk that future, the future of our young people as we move forward, because I don't think that anything we can do can compare to the fight against doping. And so I'd like to just encourage all of you, all the federations, to work very closely with ADAC to facilitate testing that they must do. And I would just like to say that no exceptions will be made for any athlete, including those that fail to declare their whereabouts when they're required to do that, because that too, I think, is becoming.
Yes, that was the CS for Sports, Amina Mohamed, criticizing and also saying, calling for the criminalization of doping in the country, which has become a menace. Dominic, back to you. Quickly, what exactly is happening? Because we have anti-doping awareness programs led by ADAC, and we've also seen even foreign bodies coming to actually teach our athletes. But what is it? Where is the problem exactly? What is happening with our athletes? Some of our athletes, not all of them, some of them.
Actually, I have to concur and agree with the Cabinet Secretary, Ambassador Dr. Amina Mohamed. And before I proceed about the doping issues, we have to also appreciate the work done by our Cabinet Secretary.
Yeah.
You know, by the time she was in Foreign Affairs, she really worked tirelessly to ensure that our country has been elevated so that we can be able to participate in the last Rio Olympics. You know, that's the time that we had an issue, and all of us were like, we might be categorized in the same category as Russia. But what AIU, then they had to understand that all of us as a nation, as the government, as the federation, we are really gearing up in the fight against doping. And I will also say that doping, it is a criminal offense. It is an individual event that somebody decides to take a shortcut. And like any other crime, we have to punish. We've done a lot of awareness, which is the basis. And you know, quite a number of people do say that I did a mistake because I didn't know. But now, as a federation and the Department of Anti-Doping, where I sit, and also in conjunction with ADAC, we've traversed the whole country. We've held quite a number of seminars. We've held a lot of outreach that we are trying to sensitize the issue of doping. Like today, we are having a session that is going on for the team that is going to participate tomorrow for the national cross-country trials. Maybe to our viewers who are looking at us at this moment and those who are listening to us, Kenya once again has been taken back to category A, where we were last round. That means when you talk about category A, that means it is at a high risk in the issues of doping. And therefore, there are a lot. Where, you know, when it comes to categorization, when you're in category A, there are a lot that are involved. It is so expensive because our athletes, before they compete in the major races outside, as we are heading now to Olympics, they must be tested a given number of times. Like when we were heading to World Championship, they were to be tested 3 times at least for them to compete.
Yeah.
And then this one is one of the criteria for them to participate. And therefore, what we are saying is that we really agree, given that the categorization came in and there are quite a number of obligations that came in 2017, that is in the new rule of Rule 15 and 16. Therefore, as a federation, we passed a policy that at least if you've been ever caught to have cheated, to have doped, you should not represent the country. You should not wear the Kenyan flag.
Yeah. And that is the message we have actually received. We also received, yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we also encourage our government through parliament and judiciary process so that, you know, these issues, when you talk about investigations, it has to go to the DCI.
Yeah.
When it comes to prosecution, it goes to judiciary. When it comes to the passing of laws, it goes to parliament. We need to strengthen these laws so that we can be able to punish those who have been caught. At least we can be able to eradicate this thing.
Yes, thank you.
But once again, maybe if I can be able to say, is that if we are caught to have cheated through doping, rest assured, we have to deal with you.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Sorry, we've run out of time, Dominic. The director is just on my neck right now. But thank you so much. I feel like this doping issue, we have to just set aside a whole show and talk about it because it's serious. And we're hoping our athletes, but it's a good thing from Athletics Kenya to say, if you found doping, there's no need to represent the country. Just take a back seat. So that's all we had for you today on K24 Sports Hub. Have a lovely Valentine's Day. Have a lovely afternoon and a lovely Friday. I'm your host, Shon Osimbo. Kasula.